this edition of Newsleader on 6. Today is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, AAA says gas will likely be more expensive this year. We'll find out how the fire department's Toys for Tots program went last month. Some Tullahoma City employees are getting a raise, and we'll hear comments from the keynote speaker at last week's Dr. Martin Luther King celebration. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck. Chevy, Ford, and Ram, man. Russell's got your truck. With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck.
Where can you find all four all-American truck brands all at one place? Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. If you still can't decide, give us a call. We'll line them up for you. Either way, my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Today's national gas price average is $2.54 per gallon, which is 1 cent more than last week. The Energy Information Administration reports that while gasoline demand modestly decreased by 146,000 barrels per day, gasoline inventory increased by 3.6 million barrels. Combined, these two factors resulted in minimal impact on the national average price. On the week, gas prices increased in 41 states, while with Florida seeing a 9-cent increase.
Jeanette Castellano, AAA spokesperson, said, quote, "For consumers, the question is how high are gas prices going to go in 2018? Since 2014, gas prices decreased as much as 20 cents in the first 3 weeks of the year. This year, gas prices are 5 cents more on January 1st, a possible indication that prices in 2018 will likely be more expensive than last year," end quote. Today, motorists can find gas for $2.50 or less at 58% of the gas stations nationwide. The nation's least expensive markets are Texas at $2.29 per gallon, Missouri, Alabama, and Mississippi at $2.30, and Tennessee at $2.36.
Tullahoma Fire Chief Richard Chastain, who heads up the Tullahoma Toys for Tots initiative, recently gave a report to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen on the 2017 program.
Thank you, Mayor. We'd just like to let you know that we had a program again this year. Been providing Toys for Tots for over 40 years in the Tullahoma area, and our numbers are down. And most of the time that would be sad. But we're glad our numbers are down. We had less people asking for help. So we're hoping that that's a sign of the economy, and a lot of people have gone back to work and are able to provide for themselves. We had less than 200 families this year, and that's very unusual. We had almost 500 children. We spent about $20,000, and the morning of the toy delivery, we were located behind Chick-fil-A in a building provided by Heart and Realty for free, and that was great of them to do that. But Chick-fil-A offered to feed everyone that was in line to get toys. So they fed over 300 meals that morning, and even fed the workers. We had police officers and firefighters and the families of police and firemen there. So it was it was a great time. It's a very rewarding program, and we had several people tell us that if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't have anything for their children. So we're going to continue that program as long as this board will let us and the people support.
Great. So you started this 4 years ago.
You may have.
We're supposed to be nice.
It goes way back.
We're supposed to be nice.
Back then they used to rebuild the stuff. It was all metal.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different program, but still the same purpose is to help children. That, like I say, several of the families, the parents said, we didn't know what we were going to do until we saw this program. So we're proud of it.
Yeah, appreciate you and your folks for keeping that initiative going, and it is a good program.
And we did have help from the police again this year, so that helped us out a whole lot. So thank you.
Good team. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more Newsleader on 6.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent anywhere else?
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. Fran Gray sat down with Emily Seal and Doreen Schultz to talk about a new play coming to South Jackson Civic Center this February. The play, Love, Loss, and What I Wore, is being directed by Emily and tells the story of several women who recant tales of relationships and the wardrobes they wore at the time.
Meet Emily Seal, who is a teacher at Montlow College, and she is directing a wonderful show we'll talk about in just a minute. Meet Doreen Schultz, an old friend who has returned to Tullahoma, and she has really stepped up with a lot of performing and a lot of behind-the-scenes work here at South Jackson. So we're thrilled that you're both involved, and we thank you for all your volunteer spirit here at South Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Tell us about Love, Loss, and What I Wore.
So this is a play by the Ephron sisters, Nora and Delia Ephron. I've been a huge fan of Nora Ephron since, forever. And so when I saw this play off Broadway being advertised, I immediately went and bought a copy, and here it is. Quite a few years later, I'm finally getting to direct it. So I am so thankful and honored to direct this wonderful cast of ladies, including Miss Doreen.
Thank you. Yes.
So glad to be here. So it's women's stories about important things that were happening to them and what they were wearing at the time. So it's based on a book by Eileen Beckerman, who sat down and drew these pictures of things that she was wearing when important things happened to her. So yeah, it's a beautiful play. It's very intimate. It's very funny at times and serious at other times. It's intended for mature audiences, and I think it's just a beautiful piece of poetry, personally.
Oh, I can hardly wait to see it. Now, you taught me a new term.
Okay.
As I said, that she's a teacher, and that's Reader's Theater.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered this time.
I'm proud.
Okay. Tell us about Reader's Theater. How is it different from regular theater?
Yeah, so the purpose of Reader's Theater is just to keep the emphasis on the script and the words and the poetry of the piece. And so there's music stands, and the actresses don't have to memorize all of those lines, although Doreen is wonderful at memorizing the lines. They'll have the scripts in front of them. And so it's a more laid-back environment that puts the focus on the script.
Doreen, you're playing the part of Genji.
Right, I'm playing Genji, who's kind of the narrator of the story. And she starts out by looking at different outfits she's worn starting as a child, and then pretty much just goes through her history from childhood to adult by these outfits. And I was telling Emily earlier, the funny thing about it is everything that I talk about, I have a point of reference to. I either remember it or I wore it myself. The one in particular is the outfit. There's a monologue about an outfit, and it reminds me very much of my days at West Junior High School.
Oh, yes.
So I think that even if you're younger or older, I think there will be something in there that you can relate to.
Now, you all have been rehearsing this, and it opens February 2nd, and the evening shows, 2nd and 3rd, are at 7 o'clock.
Correct.
And on Sunday afternoon, it's at 2:30 here at South Jackson. And we just encourage all mature women, or some of us who are not as mature, to come and be part of this experience. We're going to have some vendors here, and we would invite you all to come at least a half hour before the show time, because we will have some items and some information that are pertinent to women's needs, to pampering ourselves. We'll have, as I say, some vendors, some information on self-care. And so we would invite you to come and peruse those items and that information. Our Mitchell Museum will be open as well, and there's a lot of history in there pertaining to women as well as men. So again, that's South Jackson Civic Center. You can buy your tickets online at southjackson.org. You may call our office at 931-455-5321. We will have reserved seating. And again, it's going to be an extraordinary evening, so wear your favorite outfit or your favorite dress, or bring it along. You know, I might have a dress from childhood that I could bring my sister, and she could bring her little dress, because mother often dressed us alike. So we could do that. So anyway, it will be a fun trip down memory lane. You might bring a little hanky with you as well.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Brenda Cannon was the featured speaker at last week's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration. Here is part of her speech themed, "Where do we go from here?"
Beloved, I greet you in the spirit of love and in the joy of this consecrated holiday, the King holiday, which honors the life and legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a drum major for peace and justice, a preacher, and sometimes a politician, a husband and a father, a leader and a follower. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. As we gather to celebrate the one and only, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we center our celebration around the question, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Ironically, Dr. King asked this question 51 years ago in 1967 as he reflected on the problems of then today's world. Ironically and sadly, 51 years later, we ask the same question. Where do we go from here? The sad truth is that our world has not changed. As we memorialize the 50th anniversary of the King assassination, we find our nation taking giant steps backwards rather than forwards. The woes that plagued Dr. King 50 years ago continue to plague us today. Racism is still alive and well. The Trump administration reminds us of this daily. When has America ever heard such harsh, foul, racist, vulgar statements come out of the Oval Office? In 2018, we should be ashamed to have such overt, public, racist statements coming from the Commander-in-Chief of the world's most powerful and influential nation, the United States of America. Regretfully, poverty still reigns. We still earn 1/2 of the income of our white counterparts. We are still locked out of the best neighborhoods, and for those who are allowed in, their interest rates are higher than their counterparts, and they are still viewed as intruders. Martin said, of all the good things in life, we, the Negro, have 1/2 of those of whites. Of all the bad things in life, we, the Negro, have twice as many as those as white. We are twice as likely to be unemployed. The infant mortality rate is twice as high among black children than white children, and the crime rate and unnecessary killing in neighborhoods is twice as high in the black community compared to our white counterparts. Our college-going rate is half of that of whites, yet our incarceration rate is twice as high. Inequity, injustice still reigns. And for those of us who really think we have it good, that we've arrived, that we have the right address, don't fool yourself. Amen. Don't fool yourself. America is giving you a wake-up call. Amen. But fear not, we shall overcome. Now that the backdrop has been staged, the question remains, where do we go from here? Thanks to James Weldon Johnson, he charted our paths when he penned the words, stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over the ways that with tears have been watered. We have come treading the path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the bright gleam of our bright star is cast. Let this affirmation be our ringing cry. Let this affirmation be the banner that we hold in our darkest hours as well as our brightest moments. Let this affirmation be the cornerstone on which we build our lives, our communities, and our homes. It will give us courage to face the uncertainties of the future. It will give us new strength as we continue our forward movement toward equality.
More Newsleader on 6 is coming up in a moment.
I have 30 seconds to tell you about RussellBarnett.com. We're going to find over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get your trade appraised, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get financing done, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get collision repair assistance, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get auto rental assistance, RussellBarnett.com. We are the one-stop shop, one click away. Why click anywhere else?
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family caring for your family since 1932.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back. Some City of Tullahoma employees are getting a raise. Let's watch as Human Resources Director Costa Bryce provides details to City Board members.
Item number 1803, wage adjustment for part-time employees. Let me get a motion in a second.
Motion approved. Second.
Second, Mr. Balls.
Ms. Bryce can give a little background on the request.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
As a city, we employ about 150 to 200 part-time employees. Majority of those, of course, are in recreation during the summer. We have about 22 unique part-time positions. So we did a review of the wages that they were currently being paid and found that there were several that needed an adjustment. The last time we did this was back in FY14. We did an across-the-board 1.5% cost of living adjustment. So the positions that are listed there, we found warranted a wage adjustment, and then there were a group of employees as well that we were looking to do a cost of living adjustment because they had increased responsibilities over time. The adjustment across the board would be about $16,400, and our department heads, after discussion with them, would be able to cover that cost for the rest of this fiscal year. So we're recommending approval of this recommendation.
What would that be the lowest amount that would be paid for a part-time employee?
Right now, we have some positions that are being paid at minimum wage. Our laborer positions who have a maximum of about 29 hours per week. So, of course, those are positions we have a real hard time not only recruiting but retaining. So we're looking at doing, I think it's about a little over $1 or so increase in that position. And then there are other maintenance positions as well as some of our public safety positions. Some of those who bring more skills to the job that we wanted to do adjustments for them as well.
So it's not the same for everyone?
That's correct.
Good.
The initial group that's listed there in the agenda were adjusted based on different factors. You know, whether it's because they had more skills and experience they brought to the position, whether it was a recruitment issue, and then a second group of employees we looked at, and over time they had additional responsibilities. So for those, we wanted to do just a cost of living adjustment. This will benefit, out of the 20 positions, probably about 70% of those positions.
Question? Mr. Bryant, how difficult have you found it to fill these positions at the wages that you were paying, and how what effect will it have by making this increase?
We had an extreme difficulty, specifically with our laborer positions in public works, as well as our grounds laborers. As we got positions in the departments on a semi-regular basis, we're in trying to see if they can, bring someone in. So we were pretty much hiring anyone that applied that had a solid, reasonable background. Difficulty retaining them at that rate. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to bring in more folks who will be able to stay longer. Additionally, these part-time employees sometimes become our full-time employees after they've worked a while. So we want to be able to offer a better rate, get better experienced and more skilled individuals in from the outset as part-timers, and then have a stronger base of full-time employees if we hire them on.
Any other discussion? All those wishing to vote for 1803, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Bryce.
And don't forget to tune into this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Tullahoma Police Chief Paul Blackpool, who will remind us of Tullahoma's program to collect unused prescription pills. Eddie Phillips will speak to us about the upcoming photography exhibition at the Tullahoma Arts Center. Also, Hope and Lenore from the Tullahoma Area Chamber of Commerce will stop by to let us know about their upcoming Chamber Awards dinner. All that and more on this week's Living.
Stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
It's football time in Tennessee, and nobody tackles the competition like the Russell Barnett Automotive family. With 6 different locations, 8 new car franchises, over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, a certified collision center with lifetime paint guarantee, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental. Let our family exceed your expectations at the Russell Barnett Automotive family. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
It's your trademark. That's something special everyone knows and remembers. It's your thing. It's made holidays special for decades and summers unforgettable for the entire neighborhood. It's made everyone laugh every single time. Don't let illness or injury keep you from doing your thing. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1943 at 69 degrees. The record low was in 1936 at 1 degree. The average high on this day is 50, and the average low is 30. Cloudy weather expected tonight with a low of around 29. Mostly sunny weather in the forecast for Wednesday with a high of 48 and a low of 29. And sunny weather again in the forecast on Thursday with a high of 55 and a low of 34. And that's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.
Have a great evening.